The high school movie has stood the test of time, with school hallways and classrooms serving as the perfect backdrop for iconic coming-of-age flicks. But the guys at our high schools didn't look like these movie stars. In honor of kids everywhere heading back to school, Wonderwall.com is rounding up the biggest heartthrobs in high school movie history. First up is 1998's She's All That character Zach Seiler, played by 90s hunk Freddie Prinze Jr. The big guy on campus charmed audiences everywhere when he fell in love with the unpopular Lainey Boggs, even though it was originally all due to a mean bet. Armed with a killer soundtrack, It's How Sixpence None the Richer's Kiss Me became a major hit. The sweet flick ended well with Zach and Lainey living happily ever after. Keep reading to reminisce about your other favorite cinematic high school hotties. Related, the hottest movie and TV stars of summer. The resident mysterious bad boy at Forks High School was Edward Cullen, the object of Bella Swan's affection in the Twilight film franchise. In the 5 films, Robert Pattinson charmed as Edward, the irresistible 104-year-old vampire trapped in the body of a high school student, who was instrumental in helping the flick's gross more than $3.3 billion to date. Related, Twilight cast, where are they now? 1999's American Pie had 2 hunks for the price of 1. The film centered around a group of high school buds, which included 2 good-looking guys, a young Sion William Scott playing Steve Stifler and Chris Klein as Chris Ounce Austriacher. Related, American Pie cast, where are they now? So technically he's not a high schooler in the film. But since Paul Rudd played an integral part in the classic 90s high school movie Clueless, we decided to slide him in here. Paul took on the role of the slightly older and more responsible college student Josh, who was irresistible to stepsister Cher, Alicia Silverstone. And we have to admit, we were totally crazy in love with Josh too. The late Heath Ledger got his big break in 1999 in the high school flick 10 Things I Hate About You as Patrick Verona, who was hired to take out popular girl Bianca Stratford's older sister Cott, played by Larissa Oleynik and Julia Stiles, respectively. What follows is a perfect high school love story, which involves one of the cutest renditions of Can't Take My Eyes Off of You in movie history. John Travolta starred as possibly one of the coolest high schoolers in the history of film, Danny Zuko in Grease. The 1978 film featured John dancing and singing as he wooed summer love Sandy in what can be described as the original high school musical Get Your Head in the Game. Zac Efron starred in 2006's Disney Channel film High School Musical as Troy Bolton, the jock-turned-musical star who fell in love with Vanessa Hudgens' character. Gabriela Montez Michael Scoffling starred in 16 Candles as Jake, the hunky student who happened to be the object of Molly Ringwald's character Samantha's affection. He's pretty integral to the best part of Samantha's birthday, giving her the ultimate fairy tale ending in the classic 80s flick as the title character in John Tucker Must Die. It was clear Jesse Metcalf's John wasn't going to be a super upstanding high school student. In the 2006 film, John gets busted for cheating on several of his classmates, played by Sophia Bush, Ashanti and Ariel Kebble. But even though he was playing a lying, cheating slimeball, there's no denying Jesse was quite the 00's hottie. So fetch. The Plastics didn't date just anyone. So when it came time for a love interest for Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams' super popular characters Caddy and Regina, Jonathan Bennett fit the mold in 2004's Mean Girls. The actor played Aaron Samuels, the object of Caddy Heron's affection, who also happened to have dated fellow Plastics member Regina George. 1999's Varsity Blues was full of good-looking guys playing high school football in Texas. The 2 biggest stars, Dawson's Creek hottie James Van Der Beek and the late Paul Walker, who both portrayed members of West Canaan High's football team. James was backup quarterback Mox to Paul's quarterback Lance, but both emerged from the film as major late 90s heartthrobs. Josh Hartnett was a major heartthrob in the 90s and 00's. His breakout role came in the 1999 drama The Virgin Suicides. Josh played the cool guy and hunk of the school. Trip Fontaine, who got involved with Kirsten Dunst's character. Lux. Then treated her terribly. Edward Cullen made the list. So we'd be remiss not to add the high school student from the school on the reservation, Jacob Black. Taylor Lautner brought this character to life and played one part of the epic love triangle in the Twilight franchise, which debuted back in 2008. Tom Cruise brought Joel Goodson to life in 1983's Risky Business in a role that launched his movie career. In the classic coming-of-age flick, Tom's normal high school student ends up getting involved with an escort, with hilarious and serious results.